on the huddle, please send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat here, and we will definitely see what we can do to get somebody on there. But again, we're going to use those topics from today to move forward with a great 2024. So what I did is I actually looked up words for 2023 to describe real estate, and I'm just going to share those with you guys, and then I kind of want to dive in a little bit deeper. So these are the words that came up when I did my research. And again, just words for 2023. So agents leaving the industry, days on market longer, artificial intelligence, inventory, inflation, interest rates, challenging, and a slower market. So with those words, can anybody share something that they've seen in a challenging market in 2023? Anything that you can think of that stood out?
I was still having clients that were putting offers in over and above asking, but yet still getting beat out by either cash offers or better offers. So that was definitely a challenge for me this year.
Amy, how do you think that is kind of changed progressing through 2023? Do you think you're still seeing that in the market that you work in?
I was seeing it during the summer, not so much in the winter here. But then again, we always have, it's usually the seller's market during the summer and the buyer's market during the winter. So it's kind of that ebb and flow, but still seeing that even with the reservations of having higher interest rates, there are still buyers, but they're a little more reserved, but yet we're still getting beaten out at the same time. So kind of a mix of a whole new challenges this year.
Absolutely. I will say that the market that we are currently dealing with, I've been through it before, but for the past 3 or 4 years, we haven't been here. So we're definitely seeing that shift happening. And I guess I thrive in change. So to me, I think you just have to pivot and you've got to figure it out and do what's best for your client at this point. Does anybody else want to share anything from 2023?
I'm not sure if you mentioned the lawsuits.
I did not mention that, but that's definitely one that has been talked about. Yes.
And I sure didn't want to pay my dues this year.
It's definitely a conflicting, isn't it?
Well,
yeah.
And besides the commission lawsuits, just the scandals involved with National and Keller and, that whole thing. I mean, I just really feel like the reputation of realtors wasn't that great to begin with. And now it's like, wow. How do we present ourselves as professionals in the cesspool, I guess, that has come to light?
I would 100% agree with you. One of the most challenging things I think we have to deal with, and I'm gonna put everybody kind of in this category too. Real estate agents, car salesmen, and lawyers are typically grouped into the same category. And number one thing people always say is like, oh, they're scammy, they're scummy. They're making a lot of money. One of the things that I've done this year that's really, really, I think changed, and it's a word that I guess I used in my real estate career this year, was educate. A lot of people don't realize that us as realtors, we do a lot of behind the scenes work before we actually get paid for things. When I talk to people about like, how do you think that I get paid as a realtor? A lot of them are like, I don't know, you make an hourly wage. And I'm like, no, I don't get paid until a deal gets done. And so we have to see it all the way through. So one of the things, and I will tell you, because I came from a Keller Williams world, you know, they always had us focus on 30, 60, and 90 days. 30, 60, 90, because we didn't know if we were going to get paid and we had to wait for it. So it's definitely been an interesting thing. Commissions has been talked about, you know, tremendously. We don't know what's going to happen yet. That is one thing that, you know, we're kind of waiting on. It hasn't affected us here yet in Minnesota. Eventually down the line, I think it will. Dennis, did you have something to share?
First, I just wanted to ask, is it pronounced Marie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, kind of piggybacking on what Marie was saying and what you're saying, Jill, I think I don't know if anybody, you know, it's kind of like when you get a car, you always notice a car. As being a realtor, you kind of notice watching shows or movies, how they portray real estate agents. And I was absolutely bewildered and very upset at some of the shows. And then at one of the trainings that I was on for, you know, it was funny. They were talking, it was training on pot and what's allowed and what's not. But anyhow, the trainer was really good at talking about different things. And probably somebody here's watched one of his episodes where he's talked about it a little bit about what they do in other states. And that kind of educated me that there are some practices in other states that are not very good. And you know, because I was always like, why are they portraying it as though the appraiser sets the value on a property? In certain states, they do. So that's kind of one of the spots that I educate people on now, is just, you know, Minnesota's a lot better than some other state. You know, I kind of, you know, portray that in part of the education that I do to some people that might be a little bit standoffish about our practices, and, you know, just kind of stating that we're better than some states out there. And if you watch the news or watch the media, you'll see some of the practices that happen in other states that aren't as good.
Dennis, to piggyback off of that, I always have to tell people that I'm not selling Sunset. That real estate show on Netflix just has me bewildered because I really just don't feel like they're doing real estate.
I haven't seen that one, but yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a bad portrayal of real estate agents. We cannot get fancy enough in our outfits here in Minnesota for that. So, but I would say, you know, there's things. I know I have a client that is looking at all the shows on HGTV and like, oh, I think I can be a realtor because I'm watching these shows. And it's very funny to get those aspects behind it. But I 100% agree with you. Dennis, what's an objection that you use to overcome with your clients, like when they come across and think that they maybe know more than that?
You know, with objections, I guess, you know, if somebody does have an objection, I will stew on it in my brain for a while. So I have a hard time with even hearing there's an objection, you know. I remember in other areas when I sold stuff, people would be like, man, he had, you know, the boss would come around or whatever and be like, you like really overcame that, you know, some, you know, how they have different numbers you got to run. And like the assistant manager would come around and be like, why didn't you hit your number? And the main store manager was like, you know, I listened to everything that he did. Just walk away. You know, he did everything possible, you know, in the aspect that I guess objections are more of a concern that hasn't been addressed. So I try and hit concerns, you know, reading the eyes. I watch people more with the eyes and what I'm talking about. So I might just stop what I'm talking about altogether and go on to something else. If the eyes aren't attentive or whatever, I might say the statement, you know, and I start off with every client, you know, If I'm going too detailed into something, just let me know. If I'm not going detailed enough, let me know, because, you know, everybody's on a different knowledge base, and I don't want to cover something that's obvious to you, but I don't want to blow over something that's not that's very important to you and you want to know more about. So I try and cover everything. I do kind of use handouts sometimes. I use a lot of emails, a lot of texts, and a lot of phone calls to just kind of reiterate each step. And it's funny how you think one person might be a text person, and by the end you're realizing they're a phone call person, you know, just by, you know, how you interact with them and everything else, and what they get back off of you. So yeah, I don't know if that was very good at your question.
No, that absolutely,
yeah.
anything that we share, I think is amazing, because again, we're sparking different things that would come up, you know. One of the things that you just brought up too is I always ask people when I first initially talk to them, what's your best form of communication?
I do
Because
too, but it's funny. Sometimes they don't even realize, you know, because I guess it changes, you know, per what you're, you know, it might be, you know, because you know, just one of my last transactions, I thought they were a text all the time, the way they communicated at first, what they said. In the end, he's like, yeah, if you can call me. And I'm like, well, his hours were totally off. So, you know, it was just funny, but, you know, yeah. So.
yeah, no, I definitely think that it does change. You have to still read the situation, but yeah, it's very interesting to see even the demographics from, you know, the 20-year-olds now that aren't even looking at their email, they're looking at their texts more.
Yep.
So yeah, that's ever changing as well. You know, and we have to continue to keep up with it. So that is something else in our industry that's yeah, ever changing. So absolutely. One of the words that I'm going to bring up that I want to talk to you guys about, because it's something that I think affects us every single day, interest rates. What has the feedback been from your clients on interest rates?
Well, you know, I found that it doesn't matter what the interest rate is, it's always too high. It always is too high. If we were at 2.5%, somebody would know somebody who got 1.25. You know, it really doesn't matter. I don't think interest rates matter at all, really, except in your pre-approval. And so I try to point it out to them. Is it about the interest rate or is it about the payment? Because everything is in payments, isn't it? And what do you want, an investment or do you want a home? If you want an investment, then interest rate is much more important than if you want to make a home for your family. Which one is it? And then that tells me, you know. And if they're so interested in the interest rate, chances are they're not going to buy a house anyway, because they're going to be waiting until they're 90 for interest rates to go back down to 2%, which I tell them. And I also tell them that I was in, you know, I'm fortunate I was in mortgages for 15 years. So I saw interest rates in the 16 and 17% range, and we are at normal right now. So I just let them know that's where we're at, normal. If you're looking for something better, go to your parents. I'm sure they'll give you a better rate than any bank will. But this is the going rate. So let's not worry about the interest rate at this point. Let's worry about getting you into a home.
Michael, very, very valid point about that. And I do like how you had stated, you know, let's talk about the home. It also sounds to me like you broke it down, because sometimes, you know, our clients are focused on a number, and that number could be purchase price. It could be interest rates. If you break it down for them, I think that does help to make them understand. Again, going back to the word educate. What would you say when you have somebody who you basically explain it that way to them? What's their response typically?
If they're a single guy, they might understand it, but usually a single guy is looking for that fixer-upper that they're going to make $10 billion off of. If it's a couple, you know, I hate to be sexist or misogynistic about it, but I look to one side and I say, what do you want? And then I look at him and I say, well, what do you want? And usually after I always ask the woman first. And it's always, well, whatever she wants. And so I say, okay, so we're looking for a home. Got it. I'll put that down, and I make sure I use my pen and write it down. I said, I'll put that in my notes.
Well, I do have to say that it is a proven fact that a majority of the time women do make the decisions in a household. So I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I think you can read you can definitely read the room and tell who's kind of controlling that situation and who you need to, you know, play to.
Well, a lot of the times, even if the guy, like I do a lot of VA, and the guy is the one that we're going to use their benefit, it's not the guy that makes the initial call. It's his wife or girlfriend or fiance who will make the initial call because he never really wants to get moving, because guys can live anywhere.
That's true. That is true.
I don't want to change. No, I'm comfortable with where I throw my pants at night. You know, it's the way it is.
Yep. Anybody have anything else to share about interest rates and how they overcame them with their clients in 2023? Okay. I'm gonna call out maybe a couple people here and just ask, because again, I know that they're in different markets than we are. Oh, Marge, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I didn't unmute myself. I did the the other part, not that part. I had clients that bought a new Lennar home at 5% instead of my listing, or this other listing. I met them at my listing, which was 09 built and very similar to, you know, very like what Lennar is building now. And so I went new home shopping with them, and it just couldn't be beat. I mean, 5% versus 8% was a huge difference. But at closing, which I didn't know before, they have an assumable loan. It's FHA assumable 5%. I mean, they're golden, because I was like, oh God, I hope they're going to stay here a long time. Because, you know, new development, it's going to take a long time to, and they were, I mean, it's perfect. I mean, that's good. But I had seen a little bit of uptick in showings the last week or whatever, when all of a sudden not everybody feels like they're scrambling. There's a lot of creative financing. That's it.
No, I'm glad that you brought that up, because one of the things that we did see in 2023 was some very interesting creative financing things. You know, we all know that there's wholesalers out there. There's people that are talking about this, and it's becoming more and more upfront. So in the agent remarks, I have been seeing a lot, and I will say this with new construction, because I have a client that's looking at doing the same thing. These builders are offering these incentives because they're sitting on these properties, because they bought these properties and built these homes thinking that we were going to continue in the market that we have right now, or had, and they need to get rid of them. So I've been seeing, you know, crazy interest rates that they're buying down points for. I've been seeing contract for deeds on new builds, which we have not seen in years, and assumable loans. So I mean, it's definitely something that we need to kind of keep up front on. I will tell you, we do have somebody coming on in January to speak about assumable loans, because again, it's a whole process that I don't think we have enough education on, and it's ever changing as well. So thank you, March, for bringing that point up.
Sure. I also, that was a real eye opener to me too, that I saw some new builds that were being rented out, like rented over the winter, because, and that's when you're, you know, Lennar doesn't do that, but there were some smaller builders that the writing's on the wall when you see that, because generally they'll never do that, I think. Yeah, it's new.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, the market shifting when you see what builders are doing. The other thing that I'm going to bring up, if you guys aren't looking at the expireds list every day, it is something that I have built into my morning routine, where I go into the MLS, I go into the expireds, and I'll give out my secrets, because I only pick the ones that are in my area. If you're not going on there and looking at the expireds and either reverse looking up their phone numbers, their email address, and then getting out to them, I call them, I email them, I text them, and I send out a postcard. Because again, they didn't sell their property. So how can I help them sell their property? So in there, the expireds have been going up, and I'm talking daily. We've been seeing more and more expireds, which again, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, we barely had any. So it's another opportunity to look at those expireds and see if you can get a listing, but it's about getting in front of them too. So
Have you had success with that?
I have had success with that. Just in my local area. Let me see if I can find one here, you guys. So I created a postcard, and it just basically says, you know, top 10 things to do when selling your home. And the number one thing says, call me. So I handwrite a note to them back here. I handwrite it. I then put it in an envelope and I handwrite their address on it, because that's really personable. And people, I've gotten several different phone calls because I asked them on the back of this, your house didn't sell, and I want to know why it didn't sell, because I got the pictures. I know how many days on market it was. So then they call me and they have the conversation with me. But my number one thing was, you know, like, why didn't it sell? What was your real estate agent doing to market your property? There's just so many different things, but that expired list, you guys, that's free for all of you. It's there already. So
Can
take
I
advantage of it.
Did you say?
I have a
can you say more
question.
about
I'm
what you
new.
said you wrote on the back?
Oh, I'm sorry. We had a couple people talking at once.
I have a question, but somebody else can ask first. I just wanted to, I'm new and really don't know what to do with expired listings, and I really like your idea.
Okay. So you guys, what we might do is if we have more interest, I will absolutely do an expired listing huddle here. And
I
then
would love that.
I will write that down for 2024, you guys. See, great idea. We will do an expired listings because I have no problem sharing my
love
tips.
that.
Thanks,
Because
Jill.
we're all in
Thank
different
you.
areas.
Can I
Yes,
just
yes,
ask,
that's
when you write on
perfect.
the back, do you actually say things about, like, I know how long it was on the market, I know these, you know, do you actually write anything about that? Or do you say anything about why you think it didn't sell, if you can tell? Like, sometimes I can
don't-
tell why it didn't sell. You know what I mean? Like, the price is too high, pictures are terrible.
Yep. I don't say anything specifically on the back of the postcard. I just basically state in there, I help people whose properties have not sold that were on the MLS. And I want to help you, and I want to come up with a game plan to get your property sold. And my one thing that I do with the sold is I make that bold. And then I always sign my name at the bottom and I put my phone number, even though it's on my postcard here, you guys, it's on here. If I handwrite it, they're like, this is a personal message. So it's just a gateway in the door for them at this point.
Yep, thank you.
When they call me, then I start asking those questions. And then I start telling them, well, this is what I think.
Okay, thanks.
I really like that messaging. For a while, it's been a long time since I've done it. I was calling expireds fairly religiously. I almost got one listing, but the common frustration from those people were like, how do you guys all know my number, and how, because they're getting flooded by phone calls.
Exactly.
So I like the multiple
Yes.
ways of following up with the personal card there. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Even
And
when
you
I
guys,
called at like 7 in the morning, they would say, you're my 5th caller today. And I was
Yep.
just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know?
So how are you guys getting the phone numbers? Because they kind of quit. The MLS had the one spot, but then they shut that off. So I wasn't sure if there was another way that you guys are using that works really good, or.
So
I was
actually
using
use-
Remine, but
Yep,
now that's gone. So I do the white pages. I have a white pages subscription, but I'd be interested to hear what people are using now because Remine's gone.
I use the same thing. I have a subscription to White Pages. It's been amazing for like $20 a year.
Yeah,
or something.
Remine was great. Do we know why that went away, or?
There was something with the subscription, with the associations, where they did away with it. What I will tell you is the white pages, otherwise I use Ben Verified as well. That's a monthly fee that you can turn on and off. But that one has, you know, all of the information. I do go into and get the tax information to make sure, because what I'm looking at when I'm looking at all of the information is, if there's a company that owns this, I'm gonna move on. That's not worth my time, because that company probably has somebody that they're working with. So you definitely have to do your research and your due diligence when you're doing expireds.
You know, can I ask a question along those lines and doing your research? One thing I've used to be able to find, I can't remember where I used to find it though, but anyway, I used to be able to look up how much people had on their mortgage. Is that just because sometimes it's in the,
That was on Remind. That was on Remind too.
oh, that's why I can't find it. Okay.
Yep.
Because there seems to
Did
be no
I-
other place to find it.
Did I see it on Home Snap at one point too?
Maybe HomeSnap, is that still around? It seems like I can't get any information off that anymore.
It's like
either.
$50 a month. Last time I checked, but last time I checked to try to get something off of there, I couldn't figure out how to find that information again. But yeah, it had almost all that information, that what they have left in their mortgage, how likely they are to sell, and all that other stuff too.
Yeah, Remind was great for all that. I wish they
Yep.
had that still, but what do we
I
do?
think I read somewhere the reason they dropped it was because the fee was pretty high and the usage was pretty low.
Which I could see, you know, because it all
Oh,
kind of trickles
tells me.
back. So yeah.
Can I
Um,
put in my 2 cents quick?
Absolutely, Sarah. Yeah.
So I work with Stewart Title a lot, and they actually have an app that you can actually see all that information. So if you guys reach out to a title company and kind of become a partner with them, it's really helpful, and it does show you all that background information, especially helps with farming too.
You can get that information before the seller has sent before you have a signed purchase agreement though?
No.
Yes, yes, you can look up any property so if I go into my app right now, I can just search any property and it'll pull up tax information and shows how much is owed on their mortgage.
Are you with a title company?
No, I'm a realtor, but I partner with a title company and I have their app and everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
somebody else was telling me about Stewart Title for farming and how great they are. So I don't know if all the title companies do it, but that seems to be a good one.
It's awesome. Definitely reach out to Catherine there if you guys are interested.
Sarah, could
Thank
you put that information in the chat for us? That would be really appreciative, because there is definitely title companies can get different lists for you and do different things for sure.
Yes.
I have heard that about Stewart Title though as well. Yes.
Could I give you just a quick aside on the cancellations?
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a realtor once, and he still does this. Going to give away his secret, but he buys boxes of chocolates, and every morning he goes through that and he makes a list of the people he's going to go knock on their door in a blazer with his card and a little sheet and saying, "I'm not here for anything but to give you this gift of chocolates." Gives them his 30-second spiel and turns around and walks away. And then he gets lots of listings, lots of listings that way. But I went with him on a chocolate buy once. Oh my God, does he buy a lot of chocolate?
I mean, chocolate is the way to anybody's heart. I do believe that. So, yes, I will say, you guys, I haven't done it in years. If it's something that I need to do, I will absolutely do it. Door knocking is becoming a thing again. I know several different realtors that do it now. Again, it's something that I think you have to pick and choose what works for you. It's definitely there, but again, a lot of them are leaving, like door hangers on there, and they're leaving like little door hanger gifts, like you say, with the chocolates and different things. I want to circle back for a second to the expired listings. So somebody had mentioned that these people were getting phone calls, like just nonstop phone calls. What I will tell you is I actually start the conversation out with them. If I say, "Good morning, Jeff. This is Jill with National Realty Guild. I'm calling because I seen your property was on the market, but it's not listed anymore. It looks like it expired. I know you're getting so many phone calls and I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I just want to let you know, I want to come up with a game plan to help you get your property sold. So I think it's just literally stating the obvious. They're either going to hang up on you or they're not. The expectation with expireds has to be very low because it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time to get there. So you have to set your expectations. Don't get bummed out.
Right. The other thing I did was I would leave messages. I would call and leave messages. And that's why when I called the next time, they might pick up and say, nobody else left a message. And that's why I answered your phone call. So they get sick of answering the phone. So they throw it on mute or whatever. But yeah, there's all kinds of, that's a great one, sympathize with them because they are getting all those phone calls. I really like that postcard that you send and give them a little time to think about things. Another thing, like another tip was somebody was saying, look at old expireds, look at something from 3 months ago and now maybe they're ready. They're not getting the constant barrage of phone calls. So that, there's just different things work for different people.
Absolutely. Always have to be changing and pivoting what you're doing. If it doesn't work, I always say try it for a couple weeks. If it's not working, then you have to just kind of shift it around and do something a little bit different.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to take a while and you have to refine your message. So, record your phone calls or whatever, however you can and improve that way is what I was doing when I was calling a lot of expireds.
So, if they do hang up on you, is that when you would send like the postcard or try the email way, or do you just kind of, okay, they're not into this and maybe try back in like a week or two, or how would you handle that?
So I actually, if I speak to them, if I leave them a voicemail, I'm putting everybody into Lofty, which used to be Chime for us. I use that as my CRM. If I talk to them or if I leave them a voicemail, I then send them a text. Hey, I just left you a voicemail. Just wanted to reach out. I send them a copy of my business card as an image. And then I'm handwriting a postcard. And then I'm following it up, 3 to 5 days later. I have a whole system set up in Lofty where it just comes up as a reminder.
Yep. The smart plans. I love the smart plans.
Yep. Absolutely. The other thing that I will share with you guys too is this postcard I actually sent out, and I will share this in NRG Connect, and we will have a conversation about this. I actually did some circle prospecting in the area that I live and through Lofty, and I actually created the postcard with them. They mailed it out for me and took care of everything for me, but they sent it out to like 300 and some odd households. And I have them just like on a drip campaign through Lofty that I send it out like once every quarter. Because
does that cost money?
It does.
That? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it does cost money to make them and then mail them out, but the cost is very minimal. I think the last time I did it, I got to pick a zip code and I got to invest, I think I did 300 and some odd dollars. Because I have a budget for my advertising. So if that's something that you guys haven't done again for 2024, I set a budget and I stick to that because it's very easy for us to be like,
yes.
Oh, I got a commission check coming in. Oh, I'm going to spend it all this way. I set a budget and that's what I stick to.
Can I ask a question that's a little bit different, just about Lofty?
Absolutely.
I'm wondering why we used to, when we got leads before, we used to be able to just click on a link right there from the text message so you could go so quickly. Is there any reason why we don't get that anymore? Why can't we just, there's no link anymore, you just have to go. Okay.
So they changed it on their end, nothing that we can control. But I think it had a lot to do with that response because what they want you to do is, get in there and respond and then put notes in. It's, I think, just a little bit more of like Lofty / Chime beforehand, getting us to utilize their system a little bit more. But I would 100% agree with you. It's not as easy as it used to be.
Yeah, it really makes you, we're so busy already. It's like, oh God, do I have the time? If I could just click on it, get a phone number, I'd call them right now. But if I have, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thing too. It's just trying to figure out how to do everything. It just takes so much time, and there's no, anyone that can help you go through, like if we had a class to go through Lofty to do the drip campaign and do the smart plan, you kind of do it yourself, but it's difficult.
I think they have pretty good tutorials. I haven't done as much as I should be, but if you go on Lofty, they should. Where one was Chime, they had some good tutorials. I watched a few of them.
Okay.
They do.
I
Yep,
wanna-
they do have videos on there that you can actually watch and go through it. It's a complex system. There's no hands, like it happens. So
Okay.
definitely take the time to learn it. Especially in our downtime here.
Yes.
Winter time, you have to take the time to set those
Yes.
things up for busy season.
Where is it at in Lofty? Is it like in the main, what do you call it? The board or
Rhonda,
whatever?
what I will do is I'll send you everybody a link after this,
Perfect.
where you can find that the university
you.
with all the info. Sarah has her hand rose.
I'm sorry, I'm really horrible at cutting people off.
Don't apologize. Don't do that.
So, with Lofty, is anyone else having troubles with getting, leads that are actually realtors, or, I have a feeling like when Francis like posts like properties and I just want to look at it, I have to go in and put my email and everything in there. And so I feel like over half of the ones I'm getting are actually realtors just looking at the property, and even NRG realtors. So it's like hard to, I don't know, is there any other way to figure out, I don't know, I guess I could Google them or whatever before contacting them, but I don't know, I'm finding that I'm struggling with that.
HomeSnap used to have a great tool where you could just type in somebody's name and it would tell you if they're a realtor. It would tell you how much business they've done. I wasn't seeing that information as much recently. Maybe because it's now a for pay deal, I haven't gotten on there. Maybe Amy knows more about that.
I just would say, I would just chime in to say, I have the same experience. I find it really bulky, Lofty.
I will tell you guys that there are a lot of real estate agents that are coming in there. I typically, if I have time before I call them, I will Google. I will just type in a name, type in their name, put Minnesota, and just kind of see what's coming up. But I know we don't have the luxury of always having time to do that. The other thing that I'll tell you is, I do Facebook marketplace ads on all of my listings, and I put the link to my Lofty thing right in there, and I am getting, you have to sift through these people, unfortunately, because you're getting a lot of lookers. You're getting a lot of people who aren't serious. But what I will tell you is you maybe got to get through 25 of those lookers to get that one lead that is going to work and move forward. And to me, that's a payoff, because I didn't pay for that. Go ahead, Sarah.
I also like giving them a call and just talking to them, because then you're not only networking, but I've even had people like photography companies that have wanted to click on there, and then I've gotten their contact information, and it's kind of almost a networking process. And I just say, oh, nice to know you're a realtor. If I have anything in your area or I need some help on something, I know who to call now, or just something simple like that.
Connections.
Exactly.
Sarah, did you have anything to follow up on that one?
No, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. So I have wrote down, you guys, and me and Amy are working on a Lofty class for January. We will have something. The one thing that we're just trying to get figured out is, we need to do it on a date and a time that's going to work, so we can get as many people as possible to it, and probably do it through Zoom, just because that seems to work a little bit better. So definitely lots of things here that I'm writing down for 2024 that we need some more help on. So definitely good ideas. Can I just ask in general, what else are you guys looking for in 2024 from your brokerage, from the market, from lenders, anywhere? Can you guys share some of those details with me?
As a newer agent, I would love, because I'm more focusing on the buyer agent side, but I would love to see the process of like a listing presentation, or like how the process goes. Just because I'm terrified to even look for one, because I have no idea what to even, where to start.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for being vulnerable with that. We have all been there. I just want to let you know that, and it is definitely scary, but we will get you to where you need to be.
Thanks.
Does anybody have anything else for 2024 that they would like to see or need help with?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, great. I was hoping to add to the list. I'd love a class on, or tutorial, something on commercial real estate. Right now, I'm trying to find a warehouse for a client, and I've only done one commercial lease before. And there's so much jargon and there's so much that I don't know. And I'm constantly saying, you know, what does that mean? Or trying to look it up quickly. So I would really, and I know there's at least 2 agents at NRG that do mostly commercial, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love that. Please add that to the list if anybody else is interested.
Absolutely. And we can get you paired up with them absolutely. It's all about helping each other, because then we'll all be successful. For sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anything else that you guys would like to see in 2024?
I just love where the Tuesday meetings have gone and are going. All I can say is thank you guys for starting them up and doing all that. So awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I have been working very, very hard, you guys, to bring you as much valuable content as we possibly can. It's my whole driven focus is to educate not only my customers, but educating as many real estate agents as possible. Because if we're all successful, we're going to move forward and do great things.
I agree. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Jill.
Yeah, no. And again,
I do have one more
idea.
thing I'd like to add.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can have, my understanding is that if you're looking for a property you're having trouble finding, the only way to get out your request to other NRG agents is to go on this meeting. Is that, we have no written way of writing to each other to say, hey, does anybody know about, a 3-bedroom in Minnetonka or something? You know what I mean?
Have you tried putting it on the NRG Facebook Connect page?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Do a lot of people use that?
Yeah. Yes.
think-
That is our
Oh,
number one
okay.
way of getting stuff out there. 100%.
I was driving the one time and you mentioned 2 places, one for like us and one for other people to look at. What were those again?
So the NRG Facebook Connect page is just for NRG agents. And then we also do have just the forward facing page, which is just the National Realty Guild page. And Francis is sharing all of our properties on both pages. So that kind of opens it up. And then, you can always send in a request to the admin team, and they can definitely get it put out there for you. Cause
But that's if you have a listing. That's not if you're looking for something. Yeah.
Not if you're,
not if you're looking. So if you're looking for something, then the only place to do that is the Facebook page. Is that right?
I would absolutely put it out there. Yes. Yep.
There are also other real estate groups online that you can go on, and that is just all realtors, not just NRG agents as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have probably on Facebook 50 different real estate groups here in Minnesota that I'm a part of. And I've been able to get referrals from them too. So again, it's hard because you can get to be too many.
I was just going to say, you're taking all those notifications every day.
Yes. As my husband and my daughter say, mom doesn't live without her phone. And if she's even on vacation, she's doing business. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I would say, my biggest thing with that though, is you guys, I time block. So I wake up in the morning, I have my routine, I'm time blocking what I'm doing. And then I have, another time block set for, gotta go do showings now. It's priorities. Some of those things when they come up as notifications aren't priorities to me, and I just kind of set them to the side.
I have an ask. So I'm new to NRG, and my old front desk staff would do a mail merge from my Excel spreadsheet, which is where I have all my addresses and whatnot. Anyway, so every year I mail out calendars, and so every year I need to create labels from my current mailing list, and I have no idea how to do a mail merge. I've tried it several times, and some reason it just doesn't work. So I'm wondering if there's anyone that knows how to do a mail merge from Excel to labels, or if that's something that one of the admins can do.
So you need to get connected, because not only can she probably help you with this, but also, like transaction management, all sorts of things. Jen, who is an admin, who's on our call right now, she would be a great person to connect with, because she could definitely help you with those things.
Okay, Jen, what is her last name? I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. Hi, Marie. It's Medell. If you want, I can email you. And we can communicate from there, or maybe text.
Perfect. Thank you, Jen.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Amazing. You guys, the one thing that I will tell you is, just like what Marie just did, ask questions. Ask questions, because no question is stupid, and we will find you the help and the resources wherever they are, and how we can help with that. So I definitely, I encourage that for anybody. It's just ask somebody, and they will help you through it. Okay, we are at the last 10 minutes. Is there anything you guys are excited about for 2024? Like, where are you at? What's going to happen next for you? Does anybody want to share? Marge, I'm gonna call you out.
I'm trying to say hi. Guess what? I was off on a phone call with a cleaning lady. So I have somebody set up.
Good.
So I'm very excited. Do I get to say something about this?
Yeah. You can absolutely say something about it, Marge. I'm excited.
I'm like totally excited. And I did find out there's baseboard heat in most of the bathrooms. So it wasn't, I put on extra blankets last night. Anyway, I bought this in from, that was Jill's listing, and I'm totally stoked. I wish I could walk around and show it. I don't know how to do my screen, because I have that screensaver in the back. But anyway, it's super cute. And I'm going to be doing very reduced stays. So if you know any quilting groups, or there's 8 rooms in the one building, all with their own bathroom. And it's a historic little inn in Peterson, Minnesota. So if you know anything about that, it's the Driftless area on the river, and there's kayaking. There's just a lot of things going on. So I'm going to book it out for weddings and reunions and things like that. But there'll be, if you have any interest, get a hold of me, and I'll have more details in a future meeting, right? When I get things going. But I slept really well.
Good.
So,
no, I'm excited for you, Marge, in 2024. If you guys missed it, she basically had connected with me about one of my listings that I've actually had listed all summer, and it was a 10-bedroom, 10-bathroom Airbnb bed and breakfast. And Marge showed interest in it, and I took her down there and we looked at it, and she was blown away. It's a great, phenomenal deal. I'm excited for her. She's going to have a great 2024. So
yeah, it's going to be amazing. And thanks, Randy. Yes, at least here all the lights were replaced, so I don't need any shades here. But I mean, it's all going to come together in 2024. Like, I will get emotional, but I told Jill that I did a business plan over 30 years ago for a bed and breakfast in Irvine Park, because that's where I lived and got married. And I did the whole plan, and it's like it's taken this long, but here we are. And it's not even an area I'm familiar with, but I'm finding the right resources, and Jill was great. Jill was great to work with. So thank you so much. And
yes.
Also there was somebody in the comments about a calendar. Get calendars printed. Last year I did, because I have a dog park at my farm. I did a sniff spot calendar with all these dog pictures at Walgreens, the Walgreens photo department. They have a half price sale near that time of the year, and the calendars were like $5 and they were beautiful. So that they have different things there you might want to look into. I'm not sure, because I missed the discussion while I was on the phone call, but I just saw that in the chat. Walgreens was just you can personalize things too. You could do kind of a personal calendar. So
Perfect. Thank you. And we're excited for you.
Thank you.
Anybody want to share anything else for 2024, what they're excited about?
Yes, I would like to tell about my excitement a little bit, but it's still a work in progress and not thought too much about it. This is the first year I'm in Florida now. I see that there's a lot of real estate activities going on here. One of my thoughts is to see if I can be a dual agent. So winter I can be an agent here, and summer I can be an agent in Minnesota when I come back. So that's a thought. I don't know what the consequences are. I know I have one agent here in Fort Myers who is for NRG. I would like to talk to somebody and see if I can get in touch with that person here in Florida.
Okay, we will definitely get you connected. That is easy.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else anybody would like to share about their 2024, their goals?
Can I just add that if anybody knows of a warehouse space that's over 8,000 square feet and has a ceiling height of 18 feet or more, please let me know.
Susan, what are they looking at doing with what kind of business is it?
FaceTime video.
It's a sorry, my cat is trying to step on my keyboard right now. It's a indoor soccer field and athletic. Otherwise, I think that if it's big enough, he's going to add, yoga rooms and things like that for other exercise, but he'd love to get in 2 soccer fields is what he's trying to do. And they'd be each 100 by 50 feet.
Which area?
I'm sorry, did somebody say something?
Yeah, are you looking in specific area? Location?
Oh, area. Any place that's relatively close to Minneapolis would be great. He loves Southeast Minneapolis, but he also loves St. Louis Park, Roseville, any place. Ideally, it would be, we saw one that was kind of in a residential neighborhood. It was too small, but it otherwise was just like a great neighborhood. And now he's like fixated on that, which is so hard to find. Warehouses are usually in industrial parks and stuff like that. So it's been hard to find. The challenge is finding a warehouse that doesn't have posts every 35 to 40 feet. That's my biggest challenge right now. So that means you have to use probably a newer type of facility, and those people, the newer ones are being built like for specific tenants, that kind of, it's a tough one. It's a good challenge.
Sure is. Sure is.
So I'd love some help if
yes.
anybody knows of anything. Thanks.
Keep putting it out into the universe. There is something out there for sure. For sure. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap up the call. Again, I appreciate everybody taking their time to be with us. Our time is our most valuable asset and it's something that we have to protect, but I am so grateful to be part of an amazing brokerage. Randy has brought amazing tools to us and he's giving back to us as agents. So definitely sorry, I have dogs in the background that are being naughty right now, just like that naughty cat. You guys, if there's any questions or anything that you need, please reach out to the admin staff. We are all here to help you. 2023 was an amazing year and we are all looking forward to a great 2024, but we can be great together as an NRG brokerage and help each other as much as possible. So just a reminder, we're taking a couple weeks off. So I'll see you guys in January for the new year, but go out, spend some time with your families and enjoy your holidays.
Thanks, Jill. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you.